What is up guys, Greedy Knight here with a video discussing the Charge Blade sets in Title Update 2. There are a few sets and skills to review, so let's get into it. We'll start with the new gear in Title Update 2. Legaicrus Charge Blade has 2 levels of artillery and a skill called Convert Thunder Resistance. Artillery is a notable skill again since Impact Phial got a facelift with the patch notes, most notably with Impact Phial SAEDs. You are dealing well above 150 damage per overcharged Phial whilst using AED into SAED combo, and then higher if you equip artillery. So you want to emulate the Ardian decoration investment, crit boost 3, load shells 2, and 1 level of artillery. For the Legaicrus Charge Blade at least. Convert Thunder Resistance is a diet version of Dragon Conversion from Sunbreak, only boosting your Thunder element based on your Thunder resistance instead of applying the boost to any equipped element and scaling from all elemental resistances. Since it's attached to a Thunder weapon, there is no issue of using this on the wrong weapon. The ratio for conversion is 0.4 per 1 elemental resistance or 4 Thunder for every 10 resistance. You basically get 12 elements with 30 resistance. It acts as a natural thunder boost, which could be broken for the Ardian weapons if the skill ever becomes a decoration skill / charm skill. For Legaicrus' armor, it has the new skill Azure Bolt, which temporarily increases affinity and can deal extra thunder damage upon buildup. It shares wording with Scorcher and White Flame Torrent because it's the thunder equivalent of the skill with the same restrictions. Only certain moves can trigger it, so it excludes Savage Axe, Ticks, and Phials, but Axe attacks and Sword and Shield attacks will count towards the buildup. It has an added bonus of an extra 5 Thunder element and 15% affinity, both lasting 20 seconds with the first level of the skill, and 30 seconds for level 2, going on cooldown for 30 seconds. This makes the first level the best value for its investment, so it can be abused in many mix sets. In a similar fashion to its elemental counterparts, the Azure Bolt damage is not affected by your weapon's attack and element, but it does scale with the skill Thunder attack up. The proc is composed of fixed thunder damage and scalable thunder damage, so you will always get some value out of the skill regardless of elemental hit zones. The fixed damage is 30 for level 1 and 60 for level 2, with the scalable damage being 70 for level 1 and 200 for level 2. The scalable damage is cut by elemental hit zone, so it could only be lower than the 70 and 200 values. It serves as an extra boost if you are using this against a monster who is weak to thunder. As for Seregios Charge Blade, they have reworked Bladescale Hone for a 3rd time. Previously in Rise Break, after you evaded through an attack, you regained 20 units of sharpness. In Wilds, after you evade through an attack, you now gain a 5-hit bar of quote-unquote new sharpness that increases your sharpness modifier. The 5 hits is what is designated for Charge Blade, but other classes get different amounts. For white sharpness, it changes to a 1.4 multiplier. This brings it slightly past the purple sharpness territory in base game. The new sharpness doesn't affect your current sharpness bar, but it is consumed in place of it. While it is neat in theory, this is extremely subpar for Charge Blade because Savage Axe Ticks burn through the sharpness instead of counting as 1 hit. Each Savage Axe swing with Power Ticks consumes 1 unit of sharpness. It just doesn't make sense why this new sharpness bar breaks that rule. As a result, you can't even get through 1 attack before burning through it. The skill is most useful for weapons that can maximize the sharpness hit, and Charge Blade isn't one of them. This is a case of good skill, but wrong weapon syndrome. Looking into the armor, its main features Adrenaline Rush and skills that support it. After evading through an attack, Adrenaline Rush gives a 30-point attack boost for 30 seconds by default. Seregios' Tenacity will increase the duration by 15 seconds, for a total duration of 45 seconds with 1 roll. It will also give you an extra 15 seconds when attempting to re-trigger Adrenaline Rush while it's active, totaling up to a minute of uptime. The level 2 version gives roughly an additional 10 raw attack for 40 attack. It's a good strategy since you can evade once every 45 seconds for a 30/40 attack boost. If your weapon lacks a perfect evade, then you must run evade window to make rolling around safer. To Capcom's credit, the hit detection for Adrenaline Rush is pretty generous, so you shouldn't have much trouble keeping the skill up. I briefly mentioned it before, but the new Impact Phial loadout for decorations is Crit Boost 3, Load Shells 2, and Artillery 3. Because Savage Axe Ticks got a motion value nerf, we will be shifting away cutting damage into Phial damage with the new investment. This way, it also opens up the hybrid playstyle to impact Phial as well, allowing you to pop SADs or Savage Axe Chops as needed. With Lagiacrus being added to the mix, we now have 4 of the 5 impact Phials with elements. Lagiacrus can match Ardian weapon spreads with innate skills, while Zosha and Mitsutsume are left with the choice to drop one of the trio: Crit Boost, Load Shells, or Artillery. I opt to drop Artillery because I value efficiency and speed over power. The only thing left is to get an Ice Impact Charge Blade to complete the set, but at the same time, Ice is the least useful of the element types due to its coverage. Element Phial will be more than enough against the Ice allergic monsters. For the raw set, your main choices are Paralysis Ardian, Zosha, and Lagiacrus Charge Blades, because they all share 220 attack with decent white sharpness. You run the Zosha Helm, Gore Chest, and Waist with Seregios arms and legs. It's basically the usual Agitator set, now swapping off Gormagala's 4-piece set bonus for Adrenaline Rush. There are 2 points of evade window to make triggering Adrenaline Rush safer as well. The playstyle is similar to Offensive Guard back in Monster Hunter World. You trigger the skill, in this case by evading, you attack the monster for 45 seconds, and then you evade to refresh. For attack boost, duration and consistency are everything. The 45-second boost is enough to dethrone Gormagala's 15 attack boost. On a similar note, Offensive Guard in Wilds isn't used on the latest meta sets because 15 seconds is too short of a duration. 30 seconds or higher is the basic minimum for a skill to be considered meta. When it's all calculated, this is basically 15 more attack than the Gormagala Agitator set. Note that there is no weakness exploit on the set due to space. It's the most expendable of the affinity skills because it's a more expensive version of Max Might with a stricter condition. Of course, you should run weakness exploit when you can, but it's not the highest priority skill compared to the other affinity skills, hence the cut. For the element set, the Ardians are still king, and you don't want to run the impact Phials because they don't scale as well with elements as Element Phial does. You run the Lagiacrus Helm and Legs, Gore Chest and Waist, and Arcfeld Arms. You run the Burst Charm to max the skill out. You have the same skill spread as the Ray Dao set, but you swap armor bonuses for something that is more element relevant in Azure Bolt. You are able to run max power Coalescence to live at the element cap, but adjust investment based on your Ardian rolls. 3 levels for the 500 element Ardians and 2 for 450 element Ardians. You also fit Convert Element back onto the set. You end up with 2 element procs that trigger passively on top of your bread and butter Charge Blade skills. I have Zosha Charge Blade on the set to stack on a 3rd proc as part of the original design for the so-called Avatar set. The original idea was to have Scorcher on the set as well, but it only served to buff White Torrent Flame by a few points depending on monster fire resistance, so it was dropped for the Black Eclipse engine and reworked to become the element set it is now. As for the value of the additional damage procs, Azure Bolt procs for 30 damage every 50 seconds, also providing a Thunder and Affinity boost for 20 of those seconds. Convert Element procs for 150 base damage and can be procced multiple times during the 2-minute active window, before going on cooldown for 90 seconds. Lastly, White Torrent Flame procs for 50 base damage every 8 seconds. The total base procs is 230, scaling up with weaknesses. Between the coverage of Fire, Thunder, Dragon, and your weapon's native element, very few monsters resist all 3. If you are using Water or Ice, a monster can't resist all 4, and you would wield 4 elements in one build, Avatar style. On the other hand, if you target a monster with Fire, Thunder, or Dragon weakness, then one proc will always be super effective with your main weapon. Like if this video was useful to you, consider subscribing if you want to see Monster Hunter Wilds content like this. Comment down below your thoughts on the video or the title update in general. That's all I got for this one. Greedy Knight, signing out.